The GTA franchise is one of the biggest in all of gaming, spanning over 25 years with entries on practically anything that isn't a Nintendo home console. These games deliver a masterfully created, consistently satirical open-world experience, magnifying all absurdities of real-world America. But most fans would agree that one of these is not like the others, that of course being Grand Theft Auto Advance, with GTA 4 as a close second. GTA 4 is quite an outlier in the franchise if you think about it. Most GTA games' main focus is their bizarre satire. Most characters are complete lunatics, which is all amplified by the worlds themselves. These are full of shady ads and commercials which will make you think this wouldn't happen in the real world, and then you quickly realize, oh yeah, this can actually totally be a real ad. GTA 4 is different though. The world is still a little unhinged, but there's far more reasoning behind most events. This game treats violence as far less of a normal thing. Hell, it can even make you feel bad at times about the things you do. The characters also feel a lot more human and by extent humane, resulting in a connection and immersion that no other game in the franchise has really replicated since. But like most things, this game's history did not start at its conception. After the immense success of GTA San Andreas, Rockstar were quite proud of their accomplishment and eager to make a successor. But they then realized, oh shit, we have to make a successor to San Andreas. And they subsequently pissed themselves. And if I may speculate a little bit, that bit of pressure could very well have been a factor in GTA 4's shift in tone. They weren't making a direct successor, so you weren't meant to make a direct comparison. Another thing driving the change was that Rockstar wanted to make GTA 4 feel high definition. They were now developing for the 7th generation of consoles, making them far less hardware restricted. These consoles could do things that were simply impossible before, a part of which of course being graphics, but they especially focused on other aspects of the experience. They wanted to create a world without any filler, and one that is not just based on a specific area, but driven by enjoyable game design. It also didn't have a deep cinematic influence like other games. Rockstar wanted to build this experience from the ground up to make it that much more of a step up. Animation was also much improved, with complex facial expressions now being possible, allowing for more intricate cutscenes, in turn allowing for more emphasis on storytelling as opposed to relying mostly on gameplay. The art direction's also very notable. Previous games went for a more cartoony style, but GTA 4 went all in on realism due to the whole high definition thing, with its grittiness being inspired by the feeling of a modern-day urban metropolis. So, now GTA 4's development is coming to an end, having blown through a $100 million budget, a lot of which was actually paid for by Microsoft, funnily enough, to keep GTA 4 from becoming a PS3 exclusive. But regardless, the game was set for a late 2007 release, and was then pushed back to boost Take-Two's 2008 financial results. I hate to interrupt, but that is probably one of the funniest and most blatant reasons I've ever heard a game developer delay a game. Usually it's to actually finish a game or polish it. If Take-Two just blatantly said, "F*** you, if you wanted to play our game in 2007, we need to boost these reports." There's a little more to it, but you know, you get the gist. But finally, after all that waiting, Grand Theft Auto 4 finally released on April 29th, 2008 on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and people quickly took notice of its deviance from previous Grand Theft Auto games. The critics? They loved it. GTA 4 is number 3 on Metacritic's best game of all time list. It takes up 2 out of 4 games rated 98. Fans are a little more mixed, however. GTA 4 omits a lot of miscellaneous features that San Andreas had, like haircuts, tattoos, weight loss and gain, etc. A lot of people also had trouble with the new driving physics. And to those people I say, suck it up, you little bitch. When looking at GTA 4's reception, something rather interesting happened. The critics loved it, but fans weren't as unified in their praise. But over time, this game has been getting more and more love from fans, which I imagine is because GTA 4 was quite similar to GTA 5, and people are getting quite fatigued from that game, since it's been 10 years since that released, with still no sequel. So people are going back and finding GTA 4 a refreshing experience, and appreciating its differences to 5. I've already mentioned it a little, but what makes GTA 4 so different is its grit. Every part of this game is adjusted to it, making an experience like very few games like it. Every character in GTA 4 has a reason to exist, and they're also perfectly flawed, yet still so entertaining. One of them connecting them all. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Niko Bellic. On the surface he seems like a generic, stereotypical Russian connoisseur, but once you start to get deeper, Niko's actually a very well-written character. He's actually Serbian and grew up in Yugoslavia, where he later had to fight in the Yugoslav Wars, which shaped a lot of the Niko Bellic we get to see. Niko's actually one of the more ethical GTA protagonists, as he even has a bit of empathy. But unfortunately he also has a significant dose of everyone's favourite 4-letter mental illness, causing him to be quite cynical and harsh at times. Niko's attractiveness to the player lies in his two-faced personality. He's He's no less of a psychopath than all other GTA protagonists, but he also has a human, more relatable side. Fans will forgive him for a lot of his crimes because of his likability. But Nico needed a reason to move to the United States, and for that, they came up with arguably the best GTA side character ever, Roman Bellic, an always optimistic and incredibly likable idiot. He's Nico's cousin, and he lured Nico to America with tales of riches and fortune, while in reality living in poverty and in debt to the wrong people. I'm not going to go over all characters, but there are two more I want to discuss, simply because of their addition to the story, those being Playboy X and Dwayne Forge. Playboy X is currently in the heyday of his gangster career, while his mentor, Dwayne, has just gotten out of jail and slowly realizing he's become old news. During the events of GTA 4, Nico becomes friends with both of them, running your typical GTA errands for them. Eventually though, you're faced with a choice. Playboy X will ask you to kill Dwayne, and Dwayne will ask you to kill Playboy. This might to some people seem like a trivial decision, picking whichever option their thumbs decided on, but for those making a conscious decision, it's really a pick between what's business and what's moral. It's clear that Dwayne is past his prime, and the Playboy is the more sustainable business partner, but Dwayne is the better friend, with Nico and Dwayne being very similar in their experiences with darkness and distrust. And this might seem trivial, but the fact that this choice allows for some morality really shows that GTA 4 is a lot different from the mindless sociopathic gameplay of the other games. And there are much more of these options throughout GTA 4's missions, although they usually don't have much more impact on the story. There is one other important choice in the story, that one being at the very end. I won't spoil the actual endings for those who haven't finished the game yet, but here Nico is faced with the decision to conduct a heroin deal for a mob boss. Roman encourages Nico to do the deal, but Kate, Nico's girlfriend, urges him not to do the deal as she claims Nico would be sacrificing his morals. See what I mean? Once again, it's business versus morals. I don't want to blow this point out of proportion too much, but I just really want to stress that a more moral choice is very rare in GTA games, and Grand Theft Auto 4 contains a lot of choices that allow for it, and we, as humans, generally have the urge to do the right thing, even if we don't necessarily always act upon it. So, the ability to give into that in a GTA game makes you that much more connected to the experience, and the cherry on top of that immersion is the world itself. GTA 4 takes place in Liberty City, which is an amalgamation of a lot of different real-life cities, but mostly New York. I could say a million things about this city, but all you really need to know is this: it's depressing. Liberty City perfectly matches the tone of the story. Most colors look like variations of grey and brown, which I personally like as an artistic decision, but you are of course entitled to your own opinions on that. It just feels like all the tragedy and loss that signify the psyches of Nico and his accomplices and foes just accumulated and turned into a big grey city. And I just have to mention, there is so much detail in the city that I couldn't possibly do it justice with the time I have. NPCs feel a lot more purposeful, with, for example, the postman going round, or a man replacing the light bulbs and street lights. Gangs will stand around, smoking, looking intimidating. You can spot women of easy virtue getting in cars to provide their services. Homeless people will defend you if you give them money. If you're low on health and call an ambulance, the paramedics will heal you. If you hit a woman, bystanding men will stand up for her. And that's just scratching the surface of it all. GTA 4 is an impressively complete and polished game, the likes of which we hardly see these days, unfortunately. But I've left the best for last. If Liberty City is the cherry on top of the story, then the soundtrack is the cherry on top of that. GTA 4 has one of the best video game soundtracks ever. It's a beautiful score composed by Mr. Michael Hunter, and it just completes all of the emotional turmoil you experience throughout this game. So, overall, GTA 4 is just a game unlike any other in the series. And that to me is a bit of a shame, as it combines the great open-ended gameplay the series is known for with a bit of realism and morality. Its dark and gritty style is incredibly well-rounded, and I truly hope that someday Rockstar might attempt this formula again. I'm not too optimistic about it though, given Rockstar's more and more cold and corporate behavior recently. So that hope is probably in vain, but I suppose we'll see.